Manchester United taking on Aston Villa. Now, there's only a few games left of the season for Manchester United, and we've basically got to win most of these games now to make that top four. It's just as simple as that now. Pretty much win all our remaining games, and I think Manchester United will qualify for the Champions League. I think the other two will slip up at least. At least Chelsea will slip up once, and probably Leicester will slip up once or twice, and it will allow Manchester United to, if we win all our games, I think we will finish third, which would be a massive achievement considering we were a few months ago in the actual terms of the season. I know we had the break, but if you look at it without the break, probably 4 months ago we were nowhere near in this state of affair. Sort of February time, we were nowhere near in this state of affair, January, February, and we've come a real long way, and we've got some really decent games still to play for Manchester United. Have some exciting games, and we should really be looking forward to this period now. It is the business end of the season. Things are up for grabs, and we could end up with having a decent season if we do win the FA Cup and we do win the Europa League and finish third. That would be an amazing season for Manchester United, considering where we are. We were wrote off at the start of the season completely. No one was thinking that anything good was going to come of this season, and now it could do. Now we might not get them objectives. We might not do that, but let's see how it goes. Aston Villa now. Aston Villa haven't been doing very, very well. I mean, they're in the bottom three at the moment. They could go down, definitely could get relegated. So Manchester United have got to be going there and getting the 3 points. We drew 2-2 with them at home last time around when we were playing dog shit, and we've got to improve on that this time and get the 3 points. Now, Aston Villa looked okay against a Liverpool side that pretty much got their feet on the beach. They really weren't bothered, Liverpool, about that game, but Liverpool did in the end grind them down at Anfield and get the job done. To me, they never really in that game looked like scoring a goal, and I don't really see where Aston Villa's goals are coming from. Jack Grealish is trying to make things happen, but to be honest, he can't do it all on his own, and playing for Villa is difficult for the England man. Now, he's obviously the key man for Aston Villa, but to be honest, besides that, I think they are a pretty average side. They're not the worst team in the Premier League by far. I think that Norwich and Bournemouth are worse teams than them. I really do, and I think that them two are definitely going down, but it's now between probably for Aston Villa and Watford to see who stays up, and so they're going to be up for it at home to try and get some points that they really valuable need to stay in the division. Now, I personally think that he should be going with the same team that we started with in the previous 3 games. I really do. I think consistency is key for Manchester United, and while we're winning, I think that Manchester United should just keep it that way, just keep plugging away with that same starting lineup. We can change it a bit in the coming weeks because we have still got some games coming thick and fast, and if we do get into that top 4, maybe he will change it with the FA Cup and the Europa League coming in a month's time. But at the moment, I'll just keep the same team, just keep plugging away. I mean, we weren't our best against Bournemouth with some mistakes we had in the team, but still, going forward, that front 5 is just absolutely phenomenal with Pogba, Fernandes in there, Greenwood, Rashford and Marshall pretty much pick themselves in the forward 3. So the team really does pick itself. Now, the only problem with that team is obviously if Lindelof, if Lindelof is injured for this game. He did come off at half time. I'm not too sure what the problem. I think the problem was a slight back injury or something. It might have just been a precaution. But obviously, if he doesn't feature in the game, then it will be Eric Bailly. I do feel that both of them have got mistakes in them, but Lindelof, the last few games hasn't looked too. Maguire hasn't looked too clever the last few games either. With a mistake against Tottenham and a mistake against Bournemouth. So our defence still does need work on it, but that's the only real change I can see to the starting lineup from the previous 3 games. If called upon, unless there is any other injuries, I don't really see him bringing anyone else back into the fold from our bench players, because I think the starting lineup really does pick itself. Now, the bench players, there's still some decent players on the substitute bench. You've got the likes of Igalo to come in, but they're nowhere near at the standard of level that these players that are starting are showing for me. You could also bring Matic out at some point and bring in either Fred or McTominay or someone like that, but at this moment in time. I think that the team is picking itself. In a few weeks, one of these players might have lost form, and we might be saying that someone else should step in, because Fred has done better this season, but whether he's going to come in and start in the team, I'm not too sure at anytime soon. But at this moment in time, we're not like Manchester City, where you don't know their best starting lineup. At this moment in time, we do know our best starting lineup at this given time, which can be a plus and a negative for Manchester United, because it is good to know what your team is, to put it out there and to get some consistency. Because I know when Jose Mourinho was at Chelsea and he had his first successful spell there, he knew what starting lineup he was going to play, and he very rarely changed it, and they got a lot of consistency from that, and it helped them win the league. But on the other hand, over the years we've seen from Sir Alex Ferguson, he hasn't always used the same starting lineup. He's had squads of players, and he was the master at knowing when to change players, when to bring a player out. He didn't always use the same starting lineup. And when we won the Champions League in 2008, I think we rarely used that same starting lineup many times in that season, to be honest. And that was probably our best 11. But there was always times where he would pull players out because he thought they needed a rest. Maybe someone had a little dip in form, and he'd bring someone else in. He knew what games to bring players in and rest games. He was the master of that, and you can't always get that right. But if we had a better overall squad like Man City have got, where if they bring out Bernardo Silva, they can play David Silva, they can play Foden, they can play Rodri, they can play Riyad Mahrez, they can play Sterling. They've got so many options there that they can play in the team, that you wouldn't actually say, well, this guy is definitely going to 100% start, because they've got another full international player with 30, 40 caps for their country, experienced man already there, which we don't really have at the moment, which is it is a real problem for Manchester United. You look at because God forbid if any of these players get injured, that will be where Manchester United's problem is won and lost. But I do feel that Manchester United are going into these games now on the front foot, confident that they're going to go out there and win these games, which wasn't the case before, and definitely that has helped with bringing better personnel into the team. And obviously 2 players are going to be key again to this game for me, and that will be Mason Greenwood and obviously Bruno Fernandes. They are key to Manchester United, and I know everyone's talking about Bruno Fernandes has been the key to this upturn in form for Manchester United coming in, but bringing Greenwood into the team has massively helped as well. And then you've brought Rashford back and Pogba back, so it's now 4 players that have come into the team that weren't playing in the team when we last lost against Burnley. And I was looking at that team, and there's about 5 or 6 changes to that team that we're putting out with our best starting lineup now than when we lost 2-0 at home to Burnley. And that is massive for Manchester United, it really is. The level of quality's gone up. You're looking at the likes of Juan Mata were playing, Jesse Lingard, Pereira playing in games, and obviously Phil Jones and players like that were featuring in games earlier in the season, and they're just not on the level of the quality of the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, Rashford and Greenwood. But I do feel that Greenwood and Fernandes, now they're getting regular games at Manchester United. Obviously Fernandes wasn't at Manchester United a few months ago in terms of the season, and obviously now Greenwood getting regular game time. I think that has really transformed Manchester United going forward, scoring more goals and creating more goals as well. And I do feel that Manchester United, I'm going to be confident that Manchester United can get the 3 points here. I'm going to go for Manchester United winning this game 2-1. I think our goal scoring will just probably be too much for Aston Villa in this game, because they don't score an awful lot of goals, and I just feel that Manchester United will probably be too strong in the attacking areas. And even if Villa do get a goal or 2, I'm confident that Manchester United can go out there and score more than the opposition at the moment against the sort of teams, no disrespect to Villa, but these sort of teams are the teams that I would expect Manchester United to score goals against. If we were playing other teams like the likes of Man City and Liverpool and that, with the defensive, the sloppiness that we've been showing in the last few games, I would be a bit concerned for Manchester United, being the Tottenham game and the Bournemouth game, the sloppiness that we showed in them games. If we were playing better opposition, I would be a bit worried, because you're not going to go out there against Liverpool and Man City and score 3 or 4 goals in them sort of games. So, but we were lucky we did get away with it against Bournemouth, but we do not want to do that again, because if you keep letting sloppy goals in, then sometimes you are going to struggle to win these games, because we cannot be scoring 2, 3, 4 goals every game. It's just not going to happen, even with the forwards that are in the form that they're in at the moment. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. As I say, 2-1, I'm going for Manchester United to win this game. Let me know your thoughts. If you're watching this on Facebook, head over to All Things Man United on YouTube and subscribe there. If you are watching it on Facebook, please do hit that share button and the like button as well, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.